Hi guys, Palle Bo here. I am working on an episode from Elkhorn, Iowa. Yeah, you'll find out what that's about when the episode comes out. And I was hoping that you'd get that today. But I have been so busy traveling. A few weeks ago, I got to Beirut and spent a few days in Lebanon recording some interesting stuff for an upcoming episode. And then I spent a week in Syria, traveling all around this historical country with a group from Nomad Mania. And then I went back to Beirut and then to San Sebastian in Spain, where I attended another TBEX conference, a conference for travel content creators. And I produce and co-host their podcast, Travel Matters. Here we did a lot of interviews for Travel Matters podcast. Right now, as I'm saying these words, I'm still in the Basque Country. I'm in Bilbao, and right now, as this episode comes out, I'm traveling to Kazakhstan. Here, I'm also going to be a lot busy. I'm doing a trip of the stands, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan, with my good travel buddy, Cynthia. Yeah, another trip with Cynthia. So we're gonna be busy again, exploring 4 stands, and me recording a ton of great content for more episodes. So, to be honest, I won't be able to produce much there either. Yeah, I know. You'll still get Flashback Fridays, and you'll still get some Vagabond shorts in the weekends. These 10-minute episodes that come out both as podcasts and as videos on YouTube. But I haven't had time to finish a regular episode for Travel Tuesdays. Yes, these things take time. And oh, by the way, the Radio Vagabond was just nominated for a TBEX Travel Award. Super exciting. And the award show is in July in Puerto Rico. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that it might be silent on Tuesday next week, but this week you'll get something else. It's a shorter episode where I explain what the Radio Vagabond actually is. It's something that I also put out as a video on YouTube a few weeks ago, and now you can get it in this week's episode. I will see you hopefully very soon. I've got so much coming up. So don't hate me too much for not giving you a regular episode this week and maybe the next 2 weeks. Let's see what I can do. And with that, here's the episode.
Meet Palle Bo, a full-time traveler and digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world. At the age of 50, he made a bold decision. He sold everything, his house, his car, his furniture, and set out on a quest to visit every country in the world, documenting everything along the way. This is the Radio Vagabond.
Hi, my name is Palle Bo, and I've been doing more than 300 episodes so far since I started traveling full-time without a home base in 2016, and more than 350 in the Danish version of the podcast.
Palle Bo is a longtime radio producer.
Excuse me, who are you?
Well, I'm Bella, your favorite AI voice.
Okay, please continue.
After working in radio since the mid-'80s and winning a ton of awards for his work, he decided to take it on the road after his kids left the house. Some people say that he has a face for radio, but despite the fact that he's so old, I mean really old, he's actually very handsome.
Well, okay, tone it down a bit.
Sorry.
Tell them something about the podcast.
The Radio Vagabond is a travel podcast that offers listeners a unique journey around the globe. Through this podcast, listeners can join Palle on his adventures as he meets locals, experiences the excitement of new places, and delves into various cultures, making it a rich tapestry of stories and insights into different ways of life. In Antigua and Barbuda, he spoke to the locals with a steel band in the background.
We are on top of the world.
We are on top of the world, and we're here to watch the sunset. There's the steel drum.
The steel band is going now,
Yeah.
the Halcyon Steel Band, and they're the best steel band in the world.
They are so good.
On a road trip through South Africa, he passed a broken-down cottage with the words Ronnie's Sex Shop painted on the wall, and went inside and spoke to Ronnie himself.
So here we are, Ronnie, in the middle of nowhere, and look at all these people.
Yeah,
Why is that?
because sex sells, my boy. It's all in the name.
The name is Ronnie's Sex Shop.
Right.
So, where are the prostitutes? Where the sex toys?
Been and gone.
No, Ronnie.
We opened up as a joke.
Yeah.
All right. I put Ronnie's shop on the wall. I wanted to open a farm store. In 1989, there was one car a day, and that was my neighbor. And I left it, and then 2 years later, some of my friends added the sex.
They added it without you approving of it?
I didn't even know. I came back from the beach and I had a sex shop and I was furious. And I left it. It stood empty for about 7 years. And in that time, people were stopping and talking about it. And just as for a joke, we opened a bar. And it's just beautiful.
And you're just sitting here in the back counting the money.
No, I'm not counting money. I'm drinking beer like a good South African boy should do. And watching people come and go.
For the luwak coffee without sugar.
He had luwak coffee, a.k.a. cat poop coffee in Bali.
Here I am with the luwak coffee that's actually been inside a cat. They've eaten the coffee beans and then they pooped it out, and then they took the poop and made this coffee.
So I tried the coffee, and it was good.
It's really, really good. It's really good.
In Uganda, he went to a poor part of Kampala and reported on the great work a small NGO is doing.
As I get out of the car, I see a handful of women sitting on the sidewalk making these beautiful handmade paper jewelry.
Susan, we're here now at 22 Stars, where the women are working on the beach.
Yes, I'm Suzanne, and I'm very happy that today what I presented at the cruise is live here. This is the factory of the beads.
This is
Yeah.
Yeah, what are they made out of?
They are made out of recycled papers. We assemble them in different fashions.
In Texas, he went behind the scenes at a rodeo show.
A truck full of bulls have just arrived, and the first one that they let out, it looks so mean. I'm standing right next to it right now.
Yancey James has been involved with rodeos his entire life.
I traveled the United States and Canada and Mexico, and that's what I did. That was my passion as a young kid. Where that came from, I have no idea.
What made you stop? Did you have an injury?
Well, I had several injuries. If you're riding bulls, you're going to have some injuries, okay? And so I've, 3 knee surgeries, 2 wrist surgeries, and the list goes on. Broke my nose 4 times.
He also did a 4,000-kilometer road trip around Saudi Arabia.
There was a small booth where a young girl, Dalal, was selling trips for an adventure company called Husak Adventures. She's dressed in jeans, hiking boots, and has no hair covering. Even though she didn't look and sound like the typical Saudi woman, she was.
Yes, I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Born and raised here in Alula. How do I say it properly?
Al-Ula.
What?
Al-Ula.
Alula.
Yes, close enough.
Not Alula, but Alaula.
Ah, you have a It's a hard letter to pronounce. Al-Ula.
Alula.
Okay. But you can say Al-Ula, I guess.
Okay. How come you speak so well English?
Movies.
Okay.
And music.
Okay.
Thank you, Eminem.
Thank you, Eminem.
On the podcast, he also brings a microphone when he does some adventurous things, like when he ran off a platform and went hang gliding over Rio de Janeiro.
1, 2, go.
Running off the edge is a rush like no other. Suddenly we're in the air.
Legs together. Yeah.
And all of Rio spreads out beneath us.
It's great. Open your eyes. Okay. Look, come up.
I can see the vast blue Atlantic Ocean in front of me.
I believe I can fly.
The sprawling city below.
I believe I can touch the sky. Oh, this is so great.
The lush greenery, the urban landscape, and of course the iconic Christ the Redeemer statue in the distance.
When he did the Sydney Harbour Bridge climb.
Hi guys, I'm still in Sydney, but only for a few more hours actually, because tomorrow I'm leaving on that cruise ship over there, and over there on the other side is Sydney Opera House. I'm on the top of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and this is the Radio Vagabond.
He goes scuba diving around the world.
And there they are, the sardines. Millions of small fish that swim like one huge organ unity that flashes when the sunlight hits them. Suddenly, a blue hole forms itself in the wall of sardines, and out of the hole swims a giant sea turtle.
Hot air ballooning over Masai Mara in Kenya.
And then we went up and up and up. Got into the clouds and kept going up. Then above the clouds and into the sunlight. Then Sergei slowly took us down again, and in the last part of the flight, we saw a group of lions having breakfast.
And did the world's highest bungee jump from Macau Tower.
I'm hyperventilating and thinking, this is it, when they start the countdown.
Here we go! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lean forward!
Wait a second. What you're about to hear now is something that I'm not proud of. I didn't think that I was going to scream, but I did. I screamed like I've never screamed before. I screamed until there were no more air in my lungs. Then I took a deep breath and screamed some more, because I was still falling.
In 2024, he launched shorter bite-sized episodes with quick travel tips and inspiration on what to see and do in cool destinations around the world. And they're available every Saturday, both as a podcast and as a YouTube video. And now and then, he might meet another traveler or digital nomad with an interesting story. The regular, longer deep dives, where he brings the microphone to the streets, are out every Travel Tuesday. He walked around the capital of Albania with a local.
Adam tells me a story about what happened to his neighbor.
He's a very good man, and he went to the bakery shop to buy some bread. But the quality of the bread was very bad. And he was complaining to the person who was selling bread and said, "What is this? It's very bad." Someone behind him, he just pointed to the authorities, and only for that 10 years in jail.
No!
Yes.
For saying that
Only
the bread was bad?
Because it was complaining, yes.
Oh my God.
10 years in jail only for that. A lot of people have been punished only for no reason. Just no reason.
We're joining him on the infamous death road in Bolivia.
It's 63 kilometers in total we're gonna do by bikes. 32 kilometers of asphalt and 31 kilometers of gravel.
Yeah. How dangerous was it?
By following the numbers, you can imagine how dangerous it was. 200, 300 deaths per year. So it truly was the world's most dangerous road.
Yeah, I've obviously seen a lot of photos and videos of big trucks going there and thinking there's just a drop to one side, and it looks insane.
Yeah, it's actually quite spectacular. Biggest drop, it's up to 700 meters, and some of them are sheer like a wall, so steep.
Yeah.
In October 2023, he was all over Ukraine, in the middle of the full-scale war with Russia. He was all the way to the east of Ukraine, visiting destroyed towns and villages.
Can you help me, Oris, describe what we're seeing here?
So we are in the village of Kamenka, which is just south of Izum, very close to the border with Donetsk Oblast, with Donbass. The front line was going through here. Like, there is not a single remained home. Yeah. The pre-war population was around over 2,000 or 3,000 people. When this got liberated, 0 people lived here. And now maybe just a couple of families are starting to come back to try to rebuild, but at the moment there is no electricity, as you can see, and basically it's with cars smashed because of tanks rolled over them. So here in the village of Kamenka, which used to be on the front line, and the destruction we see is the result of artillery. Only with artillery you can make such a vast volume of destruction. And unfortunately, this is an example of what's happening in Ukraine along the entire front line, which spans for almost 1,000 kilometers.
he met a real nomad in Morocco who spent the first 13 years of his life in the Sahara Desert.
How was your life the first 13 years?
The first 13 years when I was around 6.5, 7 years old, I was my father was teaching me how to take care of the little sheep, the goats, the little goats. And when I am 12 years old, my father also tried to teach me how to take care of camels and how to manage with them. Yes.
He even went to North Korea with his daughter.
One of the things I found most interesting was just walking around town. And all over the big squares, we would see small dots with a couple of feet between them. These are meant to have people stand in straight rows when they have the many military parades. In the afternoon, we actually saw thousands of Koreans after work training for the upcoming parade.
So the Radio Vagabond isn't just about the destinations, but the journey itself and the myriad of human connections and experiences Palle Bo encounters along the way. In the podcast, you can learn a lot about the world while being entertained and be a fly on the wall on this epic journey to every country in the world.
The ultimate destination for armchair travelers who are looking for inspiration to get out into the real world and let loose their wanderlust. The Radio Vagabond. Gotta keep moving.
That's a wrap. Good job, Bella.
Thanks, Polly.
Hey, you want to join me on my next trip?
You do realize that I'm just an AI?
Yeah, sure. I don't care.
Okay, then.
Now, what were you saying about me being handsome?
Right, even though you're old. Very old.
Yeah. How old are you?
Me? I'm around 2 years old.
Really? That's pretty young.
Where are we going?
Where do you want to go?